Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Thursday. It's Daryl here. It is 4 a.m. on the dot here in Connecticut on the East Coast. It's one of those mornings. Some mornings I can't. I practically run out here to set up and get my video going because I've got this idea that I'm afraid I'm going to lose, like I do with my paintings, this inspiration. Today's not one of those days. I got a mix of ideas. Let me just start with the debates. All right. Being biased, of course, I loved how Kamala Harris did. I love it. I think she got a lot of women voters. If you've gone to social media at all last night or this morning, you see a lot of memes on mansplaining, it's called, and one of the things that bothered me is when Pence said that. Biden and Harris would pack the Supreme Court. You're going to pack the Supreme Court. Now, first of all, Trump has put in more Supreme Court justices. We're on 4. I think it's 4 now than any other president in history. I think, right? And they've been like Camilla was saying. They put in 50 lifetime judges, and not one of them are black. The fact, there's a couple times when Pence spoke and my mouth just dropped open. The lie was so blatant that I can't, when I see people just outright lying like that, it's like if it was nighttime and somebody stood in front of you and said, there's the sun right there, it's sunny out. That's what it felt like a couple times. So when he claimed that Biden and Harris would pack the Supreme Court, this is what bothered me, is he didn't even let her start answering the question. And worse than that, he cut her off and then answered the question for her, put his own answer in. That bothered me. That was just ridiculous to me. There's a couple incidents. Now, you guys know about body language. You know how I talk about reading people. You know, after 22 years of being a big fat liar, like I've said a lot of times, and an addict, I manipulated and lied constantly, 24/7, all the time. Seriously, I'm not something I'm proud of, but my philosophy is to take the mess that my life was and use it to the best of my abilities. Take what I've learned and use it now. When Pence was talking a few times, he talked about Obamacare, and he said Obamacare was a disaster. The American people will remember it forever. And he's shaking his head no as he's saying this. Go back and watch it. And he does this a few times. Now that right there is one of the main body language points, is when somebody that right there says they don't believe what they're saying. He's saying the American people will remember it forever. Overall, I think Camilla did better. I think she seemed more confident. Her facial expressions were fantastic. Pence came off as an arrogant, elite, white, Midwestern, the people I despise, really. All right. So let's talk about the fly. The fly and the bloodshot eye. It grossed me out. I'm going to tell you the truth. Whenever I see flies land on people, when I see flies in the house, first thing I think of is the Amityville Horror. Do you remember that movie? And if you look on my liked videos, I don't know if they're still there, but Ed and Lorraine Warren lived very close to me, or they used to before they passed away. And I met them before. I'm very familiar with their work. They're demonologists. And flies are a huge part of demonic infestations. And when I saw that fly sitting on Pence's head for 2 straight minutes, man, and then the pink eye, to me, I thought of The Walking Dead, zombies, and the Amityville Horror. freaked me out, man. All right, let's talk about Donald Trump. Back in the Oval Office, so all over the news now. They know that he's in the Oval Office. I didn't know this. They know when he's in the Oval Office by the Marine Guard that comes out the door, and I know the Marine Guard is not wearing any mask. And I just think about how the Secret Service and the Marines, how they guard him. Now their job is to take a bullet for the president, but you've probably seen this saying already. It's not to take a bullet from the president. Giving their life to this ignorance, I give them credit. I mean, giving your life to protect him is one thing, but putting your life in danger for his own arrogant stupidity is a whole other thing. When he came on TV yesterday and he talked about how this was a blessing from God. There's 34 people now. First it was 12, 13, then it was just about 24. 34 people in his circle are infected now, and two of them are reported to be gravely ill. And this is a blessing from God. Man, when I watched that debate last night and I saw Pence talk about how he shut down China, and there would be hundreds of thousands more deaths. Look at the timeline. Look at the timeline. It took 2 weeks. And Trump, if you read reports from the White House, Trump was against shutting down the travel from China. It took him 2 weeks to do it. And by then there was already the cow was out of the barn, the cat was out of the bag. What Pence was bragging about right there was a lie. And it wasn't a lie, but it was twisted truth. It took Trump 2 weeks to close the border with China. And within that 2 weeks, and because Donald Trump is such the businessman dealer, he didn't want to shut down travel from China. Pence was bragging about how, he shut it down anyway, even though he's a businessman. It took him 2 weeks to shut it down, which allowed the virus to get in. Now, I'm not going to bang on Trump too hard for that because we didn't really know how bad the situation was at that point. What he's doing now is just pure insanity. How can he keep America safe? How can the biggest point last night during the debates, Pence took Kamala to task for her response to the vaccine. And apparently on some of the news reports, some of social media, they're using that against Kamala. The way she said that if scientists and doctors said it was okay to take a vaccine, she would be the first in line to take it. If Donald Trump said to take this vaccine, there's no way she would. And you know what? I am 100% behind her. Look at Donald Trump. He has no care, no concept of himself getting sick or anyone or even worse than that, anyone around him getting sick. His family, his closest associates, his closest friends, he has no consideration for them whatsoever. And I'm going to believe him. Right now, I see that the CDC is putting up guidelines or that this vaccine has to be tested. The trials have to go through a 2-month period, and it's not going to be till the end of the year at the very earliest, more than likely later than that. And the Trump administration is trying to fight this. They're trying constantly to change the CDC regulations for the safety of the vaccine. We're seeing it right in front of our eyes. Look, I'll be honest with you guys. I am not an anti-vaxxer. I think anti-vax people in general are bad for humanity. I think their premise, their idea is ridiculous. I think autism has always been here. I think a lot of it has to do with chemicals in food, pollution in the air, deregulation by the Republicans that allow more of this crap in the water, in our food, in our drugs, in our air, in the soil. That's exactly what Trump is doing right now. The Trump administration is just deregulating everything. Mercury in emissions, the drinking water. And we wonder where autism comes from. But anyway, back to the vaccinations. I'll be honest with you guys. I don't like saying this because it's not the best, for the country, but I wouldn't trust the vaccine. I'm personally, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait for a while. I don't want to end up blind, impotent, with erectile dysfunction or God knows what, growing a third ear or whatever. I know that sounds ridiculous, but the blindness and the impotency is not too ridiculous. But I don't trust the vaccine. Look at Donald Trump, 34 people around him. I think it's one of the biggest, I keep seeing this, one of the biggest super spreader situations in the country right now. The biggest. If that's not a colossal failure for the COVID-19 virus, I don't know what is. If he can't, he doesn't want to, he has no will or desire to protect the people around him. How is he going to protect America? Yeah, so it's all about him, his election. All right, I'll be back later with another video. You guys have a good Thursday.